Procrastination, the weakness of students. Procrastination, the key to finding time later. We have all been the victim of procrastination at one time or another, whether we're avoiding a homework assignment or postponing a task. Procrastination is a common mistake that many people make because they do not know why they make it, they do not know the negative consequences, they do not know how to avoid it. I'm a college student and I've procrastinated many times before, so I know how easy it is to fall into the trend. By the time I am finished explaining procrastination into depth, my hope is that we will realize that procrastination is the main key to failure and we will avoid it at all costs. Now let us understand why we procrastinate. Before we can jump into finding a solution for avoiding procrastination, we need to understand why we even do it. The Academic Success Center has researched and found that the top reasons that people procrastinate is because they do not know how to do the task, they do not have the motivation to do the task, or they are afraid they will fail. Even if we do not know how to perform a task, it is easier to learn when the difficulty presents itself rather than waiting until the last minute to try and scramble and find a solution. Regardless, at some point the learning is going to have to happen, so it is easier to do the learning before rather than after. Another common reason that we find ourselves procrastination is we do not have the motivation. Not having the motivation to fulfill a task can easily veer us towards procrastination. But if we take even small steps into the right direction, then it will help us immensely. The first steps are always the hardest with any task. Lastly, but probably the biggest reason that we procrastinate is the fear of failure. If a person is afraid they will not accomplish the task correctly, they generally will not give it 100% of their effort, because if they do not fully try, then they cannot fail, is their mentality. These are the major reasons behind procrastination. However, there are countless more that we need to try and avoid. Now that we understand why we procrastinate, let us go into depth on the potential consequences. Even though we would like to think that waiting until the last minute gives us more time for the things we enjoy, there are more consequences than we would like to think. Leathville reported that a survey given in Canada to a sample of people proved that 50% of the people who claim to procrastinate reported that it had a negative consequence on their level of happiness. There are the three major reasons for procrastination is awareness, time management, and setting goals. The first step to finding a solution to procrastination is being aware and admitting there's a problem that needs to be fixed. Awareness and acceptance is always the first step with any problem that may arise. Time management. Be realistic on what you expect of yourself. You need to give yourself adequate time for each task that is committed to, or else it is just not realistic. Goals. Short-term as well as long-term goals need to be set into place in order to understand what we expect of ourselves, and deadlines make a huge impact on getting things done. Short-term daily goals need to be set so we know what we want to get done by the end of the day, and then the final goal is easily met because once we take a small step in the right direction, then it's easier to take the larger steps. Procrastination may feel like a small issue, but when the consequences are committed, it is bigger than we would like to think. That is why research has been done to find a solution on why we procrastinate. Stress is the main negative consequence of procrastination. Procrastinators miss job opportunities, vacation opportunities, and even schooling opportunities. They miss job opportunities because they do not turn their resume in time. They miss vacation opportunities because they do not book their flights in time, and they can even miss schooling opportunities because they do not turn in the required papers in time. Procrastination threatens a person's overall health and well-being. Since we understand why we procrastinate and the negative consequences, it is time to find a solution. Procrastination may feel like a small issue, but considering the negative side effects, solutions have been found to get students out of this trend. Awareness, time management, and goal setting are the three major solutions to procrastination. Awareness. A person needs to accept that they are doing something wrong and it needs to be fixed. So acceptance is always the first step in any issue. Time management. Be realistic on what you expect of yourself. Give yourself adequate time for each goal that is committed to. You have to have plenty of time for each goal that you agree upon. Goals. Short-term as well as long-term goals need to be set into place in order to understand what we expect of ourselves, and deadlines make a huge impact on getting things done. I've explained the reasoning behind why we procrastinate, the negative consequences that come from procrastinating, and solutions to avoid procrastination. Now that I've explained why we procrastinate and why it's becoming such a common happening, and I've given you solutions, I hope that there will be less procrastination and less stress overall. Procrastination not only holds you back from doing things you enjoy, it also has a negative effect on your health and well-being. So with the resources, hopefully we will have more people getting their tasks done ahead of time. Now, what reason does a person have to procrastinate, especially since we know why we procrastinate, effects it has, and even how to avoid it? So I hope that now that I've told you why you procrastinate, the negative effects, and the solutions to fix your procrastination, that we will not procrastinate nearly as much. Thank you so much.